I always feel weird about what to say because when you go live, no one is actually watching yet.
Yeah, you should give yourself a delay.
Right. I should have just started it with the graphic and let some people join. But we'll kibitz. I haven't even looked at the board for the first.
I've not either. Just getting started here. But yeah, the Wesley Ward's 3 to 5. Kind of figured as much.
I mean, I'm against.
Yeah, I don't love it. So I did run some stats, and a second-time starter for Ward, like off a layoff with a drop from maiden special to maiden claimer. The stats are not good. It's like 2 for 22. But the 2 wins were both at this level, the bottom of the barrel, 7,500. And so he was 2 for 4 at this level. And the one of the ones that lost was like 4 to 1, so it wasn't even bet. But of the 3 that were sort of bet like this, 2 of them won. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise to think, given the connections and the board, that he's one of the ones. But
yeah,
man, I can't do odds on. And I mean, I know 0 for 9, and that's a lot of losses strung together, and really only one of the races was competitive. But Ragozin wise, the Uno is, I mean, right there with any of them.
Yeah, I was 3-1.
I would even say the fastest horse.
Yeah, I was 3-1, and then the 9 in terms of preference.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like sometimes at Turfway, you're like, well, I get it with the 9, don't want to take odds on, but sometimes you might like a horse who's 20 to 1, and then you could still play around with the favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, the 2 you mentioned are the second and third choice. I'm much more bullish on the 1 than anyone else. So that's okay, so you like the 1. So to me, it's pretty much a win bet if you're playing the Maltese. You stick your neck out and single and, beat an odds on, and that would be a great start. But, unfortunately, I don't like much else beyond, which kind of expect it at the bottom level.
There is a decent amount of speed in here, so that could create some, chaos a little bit. It could mess up the 9 a little bit. The 3 I thought was a better one of the best closers of the bunch. That was kind of my attraction on the 3.
Yeah, well, I mean, what you said about the chaos and the speed, I think points. I shouldn't say points to the 1, but certainly if you're a backer of the Uno, as George Cox is, and I am, you definitely want the speed to show up.
Yeah, so I'm going to play a small double of the 3 into the 8, 9, 11. Nothing too crazy, but
all right. I'm just going to bet to win.
Oh, the old fashioned. I don't think my ADW has that.
We joke all the time with former colleagues at Churchill in a group chat, and I think we're all too adverse to the win button, but one gentleman in particular, it's a frequent joke about needing to find it. But yeah, I'm doing my recap of 2024. Something I've done for years, being transparent about my ROI and what went well, what didn't, et cetera. And I actually had a positive ROI on win bets last year.
Nice.
And just don't feel like that. And that's not the first time that's happened. And I'm negative for the year. So I really need to be disciplined. And, especially at Turfway, I don't have a strong opinion in any of the other races. Maybe the 5th, a little bit of a nod. But, so many times I try to force a pick 5 here. And I'm just going to bet to win.
Are you on Kitadan in the 5th?
A lot of the like pen and paper stuff I do pointed to him. And I did a little more work since it's part of the live stream. So I dug in. I like that he's 4 to 1 on the line. I actually thought when I looked at everything and then looked at the line, I was surprised he wasn't favored. But I don't think if he's 4 to 1, I'm in, but I don't think he'll be that. So I want to give myself some backups in there. The deuce caught my eye as potential lone speed.
Yeah, summon your courage, stretching out. Yeah. For sure. I was looking at some closers there, and I thought the 5th was the most open race of the pick 5 sequence, so that's why I was asking about it.
Okay. I would have said the 2nd.
Okay. Yeah,
Just
I think the 2nd would be the next.
Somewhat based on, I just have a lot of numbers written down, so that kind of comes down to, I'll look at the board and lop off the underlays, but yeah. I mean, really, after this race, which I do like the Uno, and like 7-2, but after that, I thought this was I don't even think I'll play the pick 4.
Interesting. Well, we've got a bet share on the pick 4, so if you want to,
well, I will
instead. It's only $2.50 a share.
I like it.
No, we can talk about that
sure.
in a minute. I should share the video. I wasn't sharing the video, so good luck everybody in the first.
Yeah, everyone's like, I don't want to see these guys.
Yeah,
there we go.
All right, so yeah, we were both against the 9. You were more on the 1. I was a little more on the 3.
Will a 1-3 work?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, for sure. It's warmer too. It's been so cold in Kentucky the last 2 or 3 weeks with the snow and everything, and now it's finally, what is it, about 45 degrees? So
I saw low 50s on my way home, but
yeah,
I mean,
48
Cincinnati
right now,
is always
so,
a little bit different. So
yeah, 48 in Louisville, so pretty much the same up in Florence.
Well, if you bet the 9 here, you're probably not loving life, but
no,
I'm not loving it much better.
Is that my 3 coming?
It is like a freight train.
Yeah, he's going by like they're standing still. All right, I like that.
Wow, 7-1 too. Ended up 4th choice.
Yeah. Nice.
3-2. No, there's no 2, so it definitely wasn't the 2.
No. Well, hopefully some people got that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm disappointed I didn't get anything out of it, hating a 4-5, but I just didn't have a strong enough thought beyond the 1. So
yeah,
I feel good about the bet, even as bad as he was. Like,
oh yeah,
you should feel pretty good though. 7-1, and yeah, about that in the double pool. It looks like so.
I switched and did some pick 3s instead of doubles, so I hope that doesn't bite me in the ass.
All right. Well, I mean, they're open races, so
yeah.
One thing I'm always nervous about is when you're looking at double, pick 3, or like deciding what pool to be in. A lot of these places, unfortunately, with shorter field sizes, maybe the favorites win more often. Like you're sometimes betting against yourself with the extra leg, and I just that's not in play at Turfway. Like there, and I would say Oaklawn and Kentucky Downs are probably similar in this way. There, every additional leg, assuming you're not just buying it or really overspreading, you really are adding to the challenge and getting rewarded for it. Whereas there are times, I've played even, let's say, a $24 pick 3, and depending on how it's structured, you look back and you're like, well, crap, if I had just played this double with the same 24, I would have made twice the money.
Right.
And I hate being in that spot. But Turfway, I feel like you're rarely upside down in that regard.
Yeah, I think it does depend a little on the sequence. Is, if you're thinking like 3 races in a row are just completely wide open crapshoots, I think that becomes a little more challenging because if you get 3 bombs, which probably not, it's probably not going to pay that much more than expectation, and it's just a lot to get through. I think like this is an interesting early pick 5. To me, like all of these, like this race, there were only 4 horses getting bet. But I think in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, these are kind of races where you can get it down to, 3 or 4 horses. There's probably only 5 more main contenders. They didn't look chalky, but they didn't look like long shot central either, in my opinion. And then I think the 5th has a little bit more chaos potential. It's a full field of Loud's horses, and there's a lot of things going on. But I think this pick 4 could pay well going into that, and obviously depends on your opinions and if you can find a price in there.
Right. And speaking of pick 4s, one thing I wanted to mention, which will be on for the first 2 legs of it, but now that they've gone to 10 races each day, there is a race 4 pick 4. Middle pick 4, so that's a fun addition. I like that they have that in the middle of the 10 race cards.
Yeah, I always forget those though, and then it's like Tony Killa does a good job, and a lot of announcers go, and we're at the start of the middle pick 4. I'm like, oh crap, forgot about it. But yeah, those can be good. And I mean, that's the great thing about Turfway is you only need a double to score. You don't even need pick 3s and pick 4s, but the pick 4s pay fantastic, and the pick 4s takeouts even lower, right? It's 14%.
Yeah, is that 14 and the pick 5's 15?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Well, there we go. With the chalk out, the super is 432 for a dime.
I actually thought it might be a little more than that with the. I mean, the top 2 choices were off the board.
Yeah.
Which, how many were in the field? 10, 9 after the scratch.
9.
That's
8.
a big difference too, though.
8 after scratches. So that's a humongous payoff with.
Yeah, that's pretty good for an 8 horse. And I mean, I know there are people. I mean, even forget the numbers players. Not to say they're in every pool or whatever, but I definitely, for my time between racetracks and at Twin Spires, know there are people that love boxing the field and tossing out odds-on horses. So
that's not the worst idea.
No, yeah. I mean it, and it. I always preface that it's like, okay, if they hate the favorite, they're doing it clearly with purpose and hammering various combinations, and that's just a different way of approaching it. But I mean, I was shocked is an up and coming, being around the racetrack type when I first started working at Northfield and Thistledown. And unfortunately, racing's, I think, lost a lot of these players. But I mean, man, people just gambled on numbers, and some were chalk players and like cashing and hope the favorites won, and others treat it like a roulette wheel and we're against every odds-on horse. So if they're around, they did well on that one.
Yeah, there you go. Remember the old days, like at some of those OTBs where like everybody would gather around a TV and then the race would go over, and then the herd would move to the next one.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's just nostalgia takes over, but that OTB environment is. I mean, it's kind of gone now with ADW, but
it's a relic.
A lot of fun times for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
There's Austin's pick 4.
What's that?
There's Austin's pick 4.
Yeah, I'm going to. Are you in the YouTube? Can you post the Twin Spires bet share?
Yeah. Did you put it in Slack?
I'll put it in Slack for you. Yeah, it's in. Yeah,
I see it.
Okay. Because it's asking me to sign in. Yeah, see if I can get it. Grab it here. Yeah, I did a Twin Spires bet share. It's $2.50, and
I'm gonna give it a go.
See if I can put it up here. Oh, I can just put the actual page. Why don't I just do that?
Put it on the other socials as well.
There we go. Can you see that? Yeah, there we go. So that was my pick 4. And like I said, I was kind of trying to get through these middle legs with 3 horses in each, where I thought it wasn't too crazy. There's a couple prices in there. But then that last, I've got some closers, and I don't know what price Kitadan goes off at, the 10, but I think there's some potential for some prices in that last leg. And as we've seen, the Turfway pick fours can pay extremely well.
Yes. I've hit one this year, and it's pretty much kept me afloat for the meet. So
nice.
Maybe, well, I guess I hit that pick 5 last week. So, but between the two, but the pick 4 was more than the pick 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's like I said, it takes one. I mean, there's been some pick 3s, which, you know, I didn't connect, but I mean, I've been live for $800 to $1,200 pick 3s, which is fun. I mean, that's part of the Turfway allure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've cashed a couple nice supers, but yeah, have not cashed the pick 4s and 5s this year. Just been close to some big ones, but kind of live by the sword, die by the sword with the big horizontal.
I think I just took the last share. Can you run it back?
I can. Let's see. It said there were 11. Oh, all right. We need a new link though if I do that.
Right. Another reminder for people watching or maybe listening but whatever you're doing, if you can hear this, basically, the feed is a little behind.
Oh, right.
And I don't mean the live feed, but by the time you see us, we're a few seconds behind what we're showing. So, you know, if you're playing, you know, and you're like most bettors at this point in the game, you know, waiting till they're at the gate / going in the gate / last horse loading, you definitely want to be aware that probably when you're seeing them behind the gate on our screen, it's a lot closer to the off than you may think. So, know we had a couple guys get shut out a couple weeks ago, so want to avoid that.
Yeah, that's good advice. That's the worst. Like if your TV buffers, like if you're like ever watching like TVG at home or something like that,
Right?
And you think that you're live, and then you're like, wait, why is my bet going through? It's like, oh, crap.
Well, and some, like if you get up and do something, you might not even know that there was a lag. So then you sit back down and it looks hunky dory.
Right.
And I've asked a couple people this. I have not gotten an explanation, and I don't know if Bicky's watching. He's the one guy I know for sure uses BetMix, although I don't know if he uses tote boarding. But for whatever reason, that feed, and I've had it loaded at the track before, so it is as live as it gets. Like very little latency, pretty much on
which feed?
It's whatever goes through the tote boarding on BetMix. You can load live video.
Yeah.
And then an ExpressBet owns BetMix. But if I'm on XB, if I'm on Twin Spires, Naira, it's only a couple seconds.
They're all really
they do a great job. But nevertheless, and I have not gotten an explanation why that feed for the BetMix products is on it, and the ADW feeds are a little behind. So
anyway, I don't find the ADW feeds behind much at all. But so I did a new bet share. It's the same ticket, but it's 50 cents. And if you can grab that and post that in the YouTube comments, it's there for anybody who wants to pick it up.
Same ticket though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
And the 8-9 kind of figure here. They're both bet down in the double 5-2, and then I had the 11 as kind of a third option here. How did you have this race?
Let me see here. I'm joining the bet share. I don't want to get shut out since the last one went so quick. Okay. I am on my top pick, and he's 17-1 is number 5, Free Passage.
That's last race. No?
Last race.
Yeah, last race.
Second race. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong name. Number 5, Dogwoods, Milla Jane. What price is that
Dogwood's
one?
Millie
7.
Jane, Eric Reed.
I mean, he's a Derby winning trainer.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm not too much of in its first time, Eric Reed, which he actually isn't awful with that. And I'm not intimately familiar with Brent Taylor, although he does have a couple wins over the last year. But yeah, long layoff, another situation. I mean, this group is, whatever. I just thought the price was right on a horse who has a couple sheet numbers that are right there with the rest of them. And, we'll see what we see with the new barn and the layoff. Might be a little fresher, I guess, but, certainly encouraged by the way the first was run, that this one will have the style. So,
yeah,
and
I mean,
Louis Contreras is much better than 1 for 27. That's going to get corrected eventually.
I like it. I mean, 6 to 1, but could go off much higher than that.
Yeah, I'm looking. The double odds are 8.5 to 1, so maybe a little bit of a drift. Man, I mean, like I said before the first, I thought this was the most open race. So I gave a look to the deuce. Another pair of connections I am admittedly not familiar with. And those names, Battaglia had this horse 6 to 1 on the morning line. I kind of was thinking 10 or 12 to 1. But the double pool, the imputed is 6. So I don't know. It's one of those. I don't see myself playing the pick 4, but I might mess around with some exactas trying to beat the favorites.
Yeah, there's not much in here. I mean, our AI line has the 5 going off at 6 to 1. So 3rd, 4th choice. So.
Yeah, of the horses you have, I definitely like the 9 best. Just unfortunately seems to be the one taking money too, but
yeah, that'll happen. Yeah, I mean, I think the 5 is interesting. I was going back and forth on it. It's interesting. It's a better trainer, and I think ran a decent race last time at Turfway. So I think, Eric Reed, he's pretty decent off the layoff. I guess it depends what kind of stat you're looking at.
Sometimes you see something like, oh, this is something they excel in, and, maybe gives you a little bit of confidence, or you'll upgrade them because of that. I mean, more than anything, I definitely just don't want to see goose egg or 1 for 40, something like that.
Louis Contreras 1 for 27. He's due, right?
He's due. It's like 6 reds in a row in roulette, but not really.
Yeah.
No, this. This is the type of rate. I think we saw a little of this Sunday, which I'm not sure how many. I only looked at the charts. I know you were following along a little bit more, but it was a chalky start to the card, and I definitely want to do some digging into the sort of average prices and what happens throughout the meet at Turfway. Anecdotally, I seem to remember that things calm down a little bit as we head into late winter. The second half of the meet, basically. So I'm kind of curious.
My theory on that, right?
No.
So I think it happened the last 2 years, but I think it might be a little different this year because of the snow and the cancellations. But in Keeneland and Churchill, dirt tracks, you win on the lead a lot, right? Its sprint speed is pretty good. Yeah. You come to Turfway, the meet opens in December. You've got 12 horse fields. You've got a lot of speed horses, and you've got a lot of dirt speed horses, not all of which handle synthetic. You get a lot of hot paces. You get more closers. You get more chaos. Then when those horses after they run terribly, some of them, they don't run back. So I think what happens is as you get into January and February, and even probably even more so February and March, I should say, the fields get a little smaller. So maybe instead of 11, they're 9.5 kind of thing, and you're maybe getting a little bit less speed horses. You're getting the speed horses to rate because going to the lead worked out terribly last time. So I think you definitely start to see less chaos. And also the bettors get to see the prior runs over the synthetic. So,
right.
You've got that to go on. So anyway, so that's my theory.
Yeah,
but I think it's going to
about the field size.
Yeah, I think it's going to get pushed back a little because the cancellations. Although we've been running 10 race cards now for a week and a half, so. Wanted to mention that also, if you go on the YouTube channel, we've got a link where you can get a free copy of the Sire Moves report for tonight, and wanted to show it right here. Basically, what this is highlighting, the 11 horse here by Divisadero, synthetic route, not a lot, not a big sample size, but the sire's 0 for 12 on synthetic route. But he's 23%, also small sample size, on going synthetic sprint. So perhaps that's the reason the 11 could improve a little bit. Probably a little bit more data on the 6, fantastic. 15% synthetic routes for fantastic, but only 7% synthetic sprints. So basically saying pedigree wise, the 6 might be less of a fit here. And the 6 is still getting bet pretty good, right? 7-2. So
yes.
What the Sire Moves report does is it highlights any race where a horse is switching distance or surface, and the sire's win percentage changes by more than 3%. So in this case, 0 to 17%, or 0 to 23%, and then 15 going down to 7. So anyway, so that's the Sire Moves report. And
it's a great report.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, see any others. The 4 sort of a bomb in race 3. That doesn't really matter as much. Not a lot of data on in the 4th. The 4 higher power, just 1 for 6. Here was one in race 5. The 8 Colorado Cruiser. Let me stop.
Race 5.
Yeah, so Colorado Cruiser or Catalina Cruisers are 0 for 23 synthetic sprint. It's now routing, and they're at least 11%. So, what's that? Probably
4 for 35.
Thank you. So maybe some potential there for improvement.
Yeah, I mean, 0 for 20. That's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, and then race 7. The 3 Perfect Manhattan, B jerseys. Look at that synthetic sprint number, 32%, and what that 73 is that's the HRN impact number. It's kind of like an ROI. So it's basically saying not only did they win 32%, but they outperformed their odds by plus 70%. So they should have won, 14% or 16%. Instead, they won 32%. And it's a switch from they're 6%. The B jerseys are great sprinters, they're not really great routers. So
Met mile winner B jersey?
Might have run in it. Winner? I can't remember that. It doesn't sound right. Somebody else correct us in the chat.
Let us know.
Yeah. Pick 4 pool, getting up there, 40,000, climbing.
Not too bad.
And so the bet share, if you want to get in, do we have shares left? There's still plenty of shares left. It's only $1.50 a share, and the link is in the YouTube, right?
It's in the YouTube. I put it on the X machine, Blue Sky. Okay. Yeah.
Well, if it doesn't fill up, it's just more for us.
That's right. Yeah, that's I mean, that's the good and bad of bet share. If you're quote unquote stuck and you hit, it's a boon.
Yeah.
But now yeah, I've done this going back to when I worked there. I always just a personal policy. Like any ticket I bet shared, I was playing at least half
Okay.
myself.
Yeah.
And depending on like if it was like, and the half would come from, you know, a buddy of mine. Oh, you want to split this, and then the bet share would be, you know, 40 shares or whatever.
Right.
But if it were just like a $96, and I just feel like if you really believe in it, now I will say an exception to that, like a pick six carryover day with $1 pick six. That would be an instance of, you know, if it's a really big ticket that I normally definitely don't play anyway. I still feel like, okay, well, there should be a pick three in here that I'm excited about that I'm playing on my own. Like it needs to match something I'm putting my own capital behind.
Yeah. You're just not throwing them out into the wind.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you. Like sometimes I think I'm definitely much better and more careful playing with someone else's money than my own. Because when it's your own, it's like it's entertainment and you have different biases and whatnot. But it's like, okay, got a group ticket here, can't screw it up.
Right.
Or at least got to try not to. Okay,
well, and
so
it's just, I mean, like, I don't want to say I feel like shit because I've lost plenty of money, my own and others. Like,
yeah,
get over it. And, you know, I think it's important, especially when it, like, who knows who's getting into a bet share, but when you're splitting tickets with friends, like we all know the deal. It's gambling,
right.
It's horse racing, have some fun with it. But there is an element of, you know, disappointing your friends and colleagues that adds more to it than when it's just me.
Right. So this I think this board is really flat, isn't it? I mean, we've got 3-1, 2 4-1s, a 9-2, and a 5-1.
Yeah.
I mean, based on the doubles, is it really that difficult, or is this we're going to get slammed at the end? I mean, the 8 and 9 are pretty clear favorites in the double. The 2.
I mean, imputed. So it's always interesting to me because with BetMix, you can see the total percentage of the preceding double pool, but then they also give you the imputed odds based on the will pay.
Yeah.
And sometimes they match up pretty close top to bottom. But like in this race, pool wise, the 8 and 9 were like the top two choices, and it was close, and there was a break to the 6.
Yeah.
But odds wise, looking at the will pays, the 9 is a clearer favorite, and then it's 6-8. So I don't know what that means. Like some might read into it and they're like, okay, the 9's the one consistently taking money. But if you're a believer in quote unquote smart money in the double pool, then maybe the 6 catches your eye.
Yeah. But in the double pool, it seems like the 5 and the 11 are a lot longer than they are in the win pool here. And certainly the 2, the 2 was only a little bit, wasn't that big of a gap to the 2. Anyway, this is a very flat board.
No, I mean, I don't know. I might sit this one out.
Yeah. I've got that pick 4 going, and then I'm also doing because the 5th race is chaotic. I'm just doing a small pick 3. So 8, 9, 11 here, 3, 7, 9 in the next, and then 2, 9, 11 in the 4th. The same numbers from the pick 4.
I mean, I guess maybe like for $10, I could box 2, 5, and they're my top two choices, and it's a 50-1 exacta pretty much either way. So maybe, but I mean, it's just so flat. I thought I thought between the 2 or the 5, even though the morning line was right. So props to Mike. I was wrong. I thought one of them would drift up from there.
Yeah.
No.
It's,
I mean, like Scoop was 15-1 on the line, and
right.
I mean, the double odds say 9, so probably going to drift a little, but
yeah, that's a lot of action on the. I mean, not a ton, but definitely some action on the.
And they are there are some horses in the gate, so for those.
Yeah, good luck, everyone. Get down. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. They load fast at Turfway. They don't, they don't mess around. It's cold out there.
Well,
right?
with all that HHR money, I mean, they got a pony for each horse, and
All right, here we go. There's Scoop on the lead.
Timeform didn't have that.
No, let's see. There's no pace though. It, seemed like there wasn't much pace here, and
Right.
let's see what happens. Oh, there's the 7. Okay. And after midnight, sort of an aggressive move, a little bit.
Going for it.
Maybe they're not going very fast.
23, yeah,
That's fair.
That's 6F.
That's fast enough. Yeah, I don't know if that 7's going to be able to sustain that. That was pretty aggressive.
I mean, I sort of agree, but I see a lot of pumping and popping behind him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Turfway. You just never know who's
looks
hanging
like the
on.
chalk's getting the trip.
Yeah. Well, they're
Scoop even making it interesting.
Yeah, Scoop's gonna hang in there, huh? 9-11. All right.
Advance.
Yeah. Survive and advance.
Wouldn't that be something if 2 weeks in a row or 2 streams in a row? Although I didn't bet share mine, so shame on me.
Yeah, Scoop ran well, 5-1 there.
So your pick 3's live, I presume.
Pick 3's live. Yeah, everything's live, but nothing
Good.
nothing too crazy right now.
I mean, $16 in the opener.
Oh, well,
right? 7-1.
Yeah. Yeah. Got a $2 pick 3. All right. Something. Could be.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't play supers there. Would not have had the 7, but I definitely like a bigger field at Turfway if I'm deep diving into the superfecta waters. That first race, that would have been nice.
Yeah, that was.
So, all right. Joe Ramos and 3-1. But yeah, it's nice to get the first leg home on the bet share. I think
right.
Definitely done a couple where that doesn't work out that way.
Yeah. I've had a couple, and this is going back 10 years now, I guess, but some players pull efforts where, you 5,000-10,000 in the kitty for those 6-figure carryovers, and definitely a matzo ball not making it out of the first race. But
yeah, that's no good.
Understandably, people are, and you're not supposed to force like, oh, I want to advance, so I'm going to use horses I don't like. But I mean, it's a struggle knowing the beating you're going to take.
Yeah.
When you put that much through and don't survive the first leg. But
I mean, I would say
the counter argument is people are participating for entertainment.
Right.
So part of that is, more than one race, but, sometimes you're just, if your worst opinion's in the first leg, that's just tough luck, and it happens.
I would lean towards like it is partly entertainment, and you do want to. That was part of the reason why I didn't do a pick 5 tonight. One, because the ticket was getting up there, and two, I didn't want to do the Wesley Ward in the first, but I didn't want to like not have it and have the ticket blown up. So I liked the pick 4 sequence. So I thought, okay, well, pick 4. B Jersey won the Met Mile. There you go.
Dirty Birds got my back.
All right.
I think that was the last. Was I there for Matoli? If not, B Jersey was the last one I was there for.
Yeah. I was there for Holy Bull. Was it Holy Bull?
Wow.
No, maybe.
Is a 3-year-old in 94?
Yeah. I'm dating myself.
Yeah,
No, I think it was no, maybe it wasn't the Met Mile. It was not the Suburban. It was the big one in the fall. He won too. So
the Woodward?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. All right, now I've got to look up.
Are you old enough that you were around for the Marlboro Cup?
No. I was not into racing until Sunday Silence and Easy Goer. 88.
That Preakness is the first race I remember.
Okay.
And I don't know where I was for the Derby. Like you would think at that point, if you remember that Preakness, I mean, that was such a thriller. I guess it stuck with me. But
yeah. Okay, so B Jersey won the 2018 Met Mile.
All right. Yeah, which was Justifies. That was the last Belmont I was at.
Looks like he retired there. And yeah. I don't know that he beat the best field.
Yeah. I always the Met Mile is one of those I give a pass. Like forces aren't showing up for that. That's whatever, but
yeah. Let's see if I can pop it up. Oh,
so 95 for Candace. I'm guessing maybe we know she loves Skip Away.
Yeah.
He wasn't on the scene yet in 95. I guess he was a 2-year-old, but
90.
So Cigar. He was a 3-year-old in 96. Yeah.
Yeah. There's the Met Mile. B Jersey, mind your biscuits. Remember him?
Wow. All right. Well, Dubai winner.
I mean, Discreet Lover, Ransom the Moon, McCracken, Good Samaritan, some sires. There's a lot of like sires that are hanging.
I mean, that's what they say about the race, sire making.
Right.
That's sort of a Churchill Downs East field there.
Yeah.
McCracken.
Yep. Colebrook, Mott, Wilkes, Cassie.
The Churchill Downs Racing Club horse.
Look who's sneaking down in 11th.
I can't see because of that ad. Oh, wow. It's a 3-year-old, right?
Bolt to Oro. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, that's a solid sire group for, I mean, relative to, you look at those names as racing. Like, Mind Your Biscuits, he has a few winners in Japan, right?
Oh, that's right. He's doing really well there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty healthy payout, that race. 123 on the super, and the trifecta was pretty good too.
For that to pay chalk on top, and that basically paid a quarter of what the race won. I'm telling you, that race was light.
Yeah.
Not that I had it.
Yeah, I was on most of those, but here I was just poking around some more. There's Bolt to Oro. Oh, there's your on the video too. I mean, talk about a horse that started out strong, right? At the 2-year-old, and I mean, I guess he was third in the juvenile, but then wins the San Felipe, and then he ran into Justify.
Yeah. Jimson weed.
Something. And something.
No.
All right.
Candace with the perspective. I knew there was, I'm sure he's the sire more than just Dermasoto Gake, but yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so 2 medium prices, and what are we looking at on this pick 3 here? Not too bad. Pick 3 to the 9 is $88.50.
You got it for a deuce? Yeah, that'll keep you in some outs.
Use the 379. So, oh, there's your Steve Asmussen. Your stat said this was not the time of year to bet him.
No, didn't it? Oh yeah, the time of year to bet him was in the spring, and this is not the time. That's right.
Yeah. Following your ex tweets.
Yes.
So, cool. All right. Well, 2 races in. Looks like we've kind of gone, a little off the pace on each, or like mid pack.
Yeah, I mean the Scoop kind of went for it, and then I guess you could say rightfully acquiesced because he came on pretty strong. Just ended up not being good enough for the chalk, but
first leg was a.
But yeah, I mean it was basically the top 3 horses were the top 3 in the second. The first collapsed. But
yeah. Right. Okay. We should say, well, one, thanks everybody for watching, but also be sure to like and subscribe, and that way, anytime we go live, you'll get a notification and be able to stay on top of everything. But appreciate that.
Yes, like.
Okay. What? How did you see race 3? Anything stand out here?
I thought. I mean, the chalk I thought was formidable, so I'm not surprised. I actually thought Day Tripper might take a little more money, but double wise he did. But in the pick 3, the imputed odds are 3-1, so it'd be interesting to see where he ends up. But that said, Looking Good Lewis had a pretty strong in the most recent race, the win. Got a really good number, and was kind of surprised to see Mike think he'll be ignored in the betting off a win. Granted, that was against non-3 Lifetime, and I think this is completely open. It's not even non-4, so it is a different group. But at this claiming level, like, I don't know. I don't see that as much as a step up. Like, the price is kind of the price, and he at least had 2 Lifetime wins, now 3. So I'm kind of inclined to believe the number. I guess the one small concern, which is mitigated by the price we're getting, he won that gate to wire, and it just seems like he's not always able to make the lead. He's kind of near it, but not on it. But those are turf and dirt races in Indiana. So I think there's enough there I'm going to take the price he's likely going to be. Currently 10-1, and the double odds say higher. The pick 3 odds say he'll be about that. So I'm fine with 10-1.
All right. Yeah, I saw that too, that you're talking about, like, he went wire to wire in his last. I was looking at the time form, and time form kind of had it as a snail's pace. So I couldn't get into him too much. Now, as you're talking, I'm looking at the brisk numbers, and the brisk pace looks fine. So I guess it depends on whose interpretation. But yeah, I mean, he's made the lead at Turfway before. Like, he's not making the lead, on going a route of ground on the turf at Indiana, but his last 3 Turfway races from last year, he made the lead going fast in all three. So,
yeah, and he's one of 3 wins at the meet for the jockey. You know, the trainer certainly struggles for wins, but I just kind of, again, the price especially, which, and by price I mean the claiming tag here. I just kind of think this is his level, and
yeah.
I'm happy with 10-1. But I mean, I do think Day Tripper is the horse to beat.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I could see a win bet and then something like a 7-2 exacta.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of between the 7 and 9. I was a little bit more on the 9 than the 7. And then the 3 was my third choice. I was, I don't know, a little intrigued by this 11, Halloween. But some good form at Turfway last year as well. And then just kind of a clunker last time. But he was up in class 22-1. So, you know, maybe that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, up in class and the price. Public certainly thought tougher group probably.
Yeah. Let's see what else. And then what about?
Go on.
I was gonna say, what about the 10? Casey's.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you had looked to the outside. I thought either 10 or 11. You know, they're gonna have to make a run, both of them. Neither have speed, but you know, Casey's memory. What's the sire move say? This is his all-weather debut, despite being a 6-year-old, but isn't win shy. Like, you know, I definitely, when you get to this level, you know, the hard knocker has been around. You know, I guess some at this level have 50 or 100 starts. This one's made 28, but 9 wins, 5 seconds. So, you know, there's a competitive spirit there, it seems like.
Yeah, it hit some good numbers, and then, you know, I don't know if he tailed off in his campaign. He's like a couple of these that, like, he's been routing more than sprinting. So it's not a sire move, but I can put up the stats, meaning it's not a material change from what he was, where he was at.
Oh, right.
Sprinting on the dirt. 13.5% honor code. So, you know, like, this is a race you can look at those stats. Look at every sire is pretty much between 10 and 11 and 13, other than the 2. I'm sorry, the 3. So pretty flat. So,
yeah, and the trainer 0 for 25 with shipper, which, I mean, this isn't really a shipper. I mean, got time off after running in the Midwest most of the summer. But I do like, you know, it's based locally. So, you know, the shipping is well occurred. You know, it isn't shipping in from Prairie Meadows to run here. So I don't look at that stat as much in this case. Halloween on the outside, trainer Jamie Grubbs, some solid numbers across the board.
yeah.
Unfortunately, this is one that has run on synthetic several times and is 0 for 7 and 0 for 2 on turf to boot. So 3 for 13 on dirt, and then 0 for 9 combined, not including 0 for 7 on all weather. So I'm a little concerned about that. But there is some number power here relative to the rest of the field. So,
oh yeah,
at the 15-1 morning line, and the multis say this one will drift. So maybe I'll mess around with some exotics where Halloween and Casey's memory, one of the two, can sneak in there.
So on Halloween, and just checking, let's see. So our AI line says it'll go off 14-1. It's probably right with some drift. The 2 you're talking about, the synthetic, even though it's winless on synthetic. It's got 2 seconds, and both of those were at the meet last year. And I mean, honestly, those figures kind of win this race. So, yeah, I would say more or less. Though, if it runs back to, I think you need it's like 11 or 12 races back on Halloween. But it's January and February at Turfway races. I mean, they put it right there.
Right. Okay. Well, I like hearing that. I'm messing around with the exacta Dutching tools, kind of looking, and I mean, 2, 10, and 11, like getting one of them in there, even with Day Tripper, I think there's some value there. So I'm leaning toward that's how I'm going to play this.
Yeah, that's a good way to play it. Like what I'll do sometimes, like I've got my 3 horses, 9, 7, and 3. So I might just take those 2 in 2 spots of the trifecta, and then use the 11 in third, and then move the 11 into second, and then move the 11 into first, and then maybe do like a small exacta, getting the 11 in there, because like you said, especially if it drifts up, it'll pay pretty well. Or is the exacta already showing a pretty good payout?
For which one?
For 11 with any of these, you're saying getting the 2?
Yeah. No, the 11 is completely. It's solid. Yeah, I mean, with actually Major Wager is the favored one with the 11, and that's over 50 to 1. Underneath the 11, but even on top, 7-11's 43 to 1. So
7-Eleven's always open.
Pay the pass line.
What they say?
Pay the pass line.
Oh yeah, I was talking more about the convenience store.
No, I know, and I was talking about craps.
Yeah,
which, depending on what you get from 7-Eleven, could give you craps.
Yeah.
You ever have one of those roller hot dogs?
I can't say that I have, but I will say this: like, if you're like traveling overseas, like a lot of countries, there's 7-Elevens everywhere, and they're really good. Like, that's the go-to.
Well, and that was like, I mean, I grew up. They are not in Cleveland, or at least weren't when I was growing up. But talking to when I moved down here for Thoroughbred Times, like a lot of the East Coast, like that's where they got the form.
Yeah, totally see that.
So back when most of my family was still in Cleveland, and Lori and I were newlywed, you try to see everyone for the holidays and play that game. Mm-hmm. So we went up to Cleveland for like up to Christmas Eve, and then we were actually driving back to Lexington on Christmas Eve, because Lori, she's a nurse, so she was working Christmas. Or we were driving back on Christmas Day, sorry. Mm-hmm. And she was going to work the 26th, and I was going to work the 26th, which is a big day of racing. And, it's Christmas Day, so truck stop, Flying J's, one of the few places open. And I got a taquito from the roller bar, and I had to call into work the next day. And Mike, to this day, I feel terrible. And I remember calling Mike Curry, who's with ABR now. He's the editor of their site. And he was the guy I was working with, skeleton crew for around the holidays. I said, Mike, I'm sorry, I cannot work today. And he flipped out. He's like, are you serious? I know you were up in Cleveland. This is terrible. I'm going to be alone. And I felt so bad. But that taquito wasn't good. Anyway, man. I can laugh about it now.
That'll happen.
So Ashley, and A, I'm glad Ashley weighed in with the pick. We always welcome that. But B, I'm thrilled to see that it's actually coming from Facebook. So,
right.
Someone is watching there for a change. Calvin also on Facebook. So love to see it. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, very tough track at Turfway for sure. Yeah, I like Major Wager. That was my top choice.
So we have a Peter Miller question. I'm going to see if he is in the. If he's in the top 10, I can just pull it from the admin, but he's not. I'm going to have to go to the rival Equibase. Not really a rival, but I'd rather use our site if he was in the top 10.
My browser's getting slow, so I'm going full screen. We'll go full talking heads here for a second.
He's not. I don't even see him as having a win at the meet.
Who's that?
Peter Miller.
Who's he got?
Has he started one at the meet?
Oh, he's got the 6. Okay.
I guess I should just be looking at the PPs.
Looks like 0 for 2 recently. So we're talking about trainer Jamie
Brisnet
Grubb.
says 0 for 0. Brisnet says he doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at the past year or so.
Oh, okay.
Talking about trainer Jamie Grubbs has the 9 and the 11 here.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's see. All right.
So yeah, nothing at Turfway for Peter, but he is 6 for 21 at Oaklawn. And obviously that's dirt and different condition book. But I will say, I mean, that is encouraging that whatever horses he's deciding to ship east out of California, they're certainly running well at Oaklawn. Yeah, 6 for 21, 14 for 21 in the money. And the last 2 winners, neither was favored. So a couple prices, in fact, not too bad.
Okay. All right. I think I might, I'm going to try the trifecta, just 793, 793 with 11, and then move the 11 in second.
All right. I'm going to hope for a 10-11-2 Yahtzee.
All right. Yeah, so no chalk tonight so far, no bombs either, unless you consider 7.
We're only 2 through, though.
Yeah, just early.
So when you mentioned this too, and Nick said time 4 mentions 2 starts. So that's over the last year. So it's pulling from last February and March, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good to know. All right, Dirty Birds on the 5 and not 5. Has anyone mentioned that one yet? That's
no. Nobody's mentioned the 5. Larry Smith. Brilliant journey.
some good numbers. Another synthetic debut in 40 career start number 40.
You never know.
You never know. I mean, by Taurus out of a Loire de Samino mare. So, I mean, certainly understandable why this one has 3 wins on the turf.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
And they're heading behind the gate. So for those looking to, yeah, I am a boxer for shoes believer. Although I will say with Dirty Bird, the 2 he's using are the 3rd and 6th choices in the exacta pool. So I'm a little more forgiving with what drives me crazy is, when people box 4 horses and 3 of them are the top 3 choices or something like that. Like you're betting against yourself at that point. But yeah, boxes are for shoes.
Boxes are for shoes. All right.
I mean, the other thing too is when you look at how you bet. I mean, in some regards, if you saw how I structured this using the Dutching tool, I mean, in some ways you could say, oh, he boxed 2, 10, 11. Well, I didn't really do that. It just kind of looks that way because that's how it made sense to put the bets through. But all right. So second leg of the pick 4. Bet share live. 379 for those playing along at home.
Not too many long prices, just that 8 at 44 to 1. Yeah,
and that would I mean, I'm sure there's been less likely winners, but that would be a surprise.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. There's good looking loose on the inside, and all right, there's the 3. Easy operator. 3-6.
Casey's memory given a stalking.
Yep. It's kind of in between. I mean, not slow. There's first, 22.85. Okay, so that's a little faster than we've gone, but maybe a little bit better horses. It's kind of sitting chilly on that 6. The Peter Miller horse. And he's coming on nice.
Who's that on the outside?
Yeah, that's a 6. Oh, coming back from the back.
No, behind the 4, yeah.
That's a 10.
That's a 10.
The 10 and the 9's flying, but way too late.
Oh, 410. Give me a 610.
Yeah, you got a 610.
You got it.
Very nice. Peter Miller goes down to 5-2 at the bell with the Los Al shipper.
Wow, and my will pay went up from when I bet it.
Oh yeah,
that's always a good situation.
You got the 610 exacta?
Yeah.
Nice. $70. That'll play.
You got it more than $1.
Yeah. The 9 was really far back, and I guess like that was quick enough. They should have been able to close a little bit, but they weren't flying, and the 7 and 9 were just a mile back. But yeah, Casey, that was the good price in there, 16 to 1. Wow.
Lannery. So,
yeah.
I'm normally reticent to post tickets, but since we talked about it,
yeah, post it.
And I didn't really mention the 6 much, so this was just one of those looking at the will pays, and to me the value of the Dutching tool is that it lets you see if I add this, what happens to the cost of the ticket and things like that.
I'm
going to share how I played it.
Yeah, why don't you explain to people what Dutching is? Because I don't think everybody knows.
Yeah, so the easiest way to understand Dutching is kind of with a win pool, betting multiple horses to win, which is that's a tougher scene, I think, and has less utility. But with exactas, how many horses were in this race? 11.
Mm-hmm.
there's 110 combinations, so you can fool around a little bit more. And so basically, and it's hard to understand from there. I tried to sort it by runners, but basically the vibe with this, and I'm trying to, there we go. Sorry. The vibe here was, okay, 2, 10, and 11 were all, I thought, fair prices. So basically, one of those three had to be first or second. So 6, 9, 9, 7, like that's all a loser. So looking at all the different combinations, and when I added the 6 in, like it wasn't that much. Like to me, it made sense. It was like, okay, yeah, I don't love this horse, but with the 3 long shots I do like, I felt like it there, that was the value. So anyway, I did this. It was $108, going to come back 280 ish. As you can see, it's different denominations, which, it's one thing, and you and I have talked about this, Mark, where I really wish I did more of that with like pick 3s and pick 4s. If you have, what's your opinion, and structure accordingly. And a lot of times with pick 4s, unfortunately, and pick 5s, it's just like, okay, who do I want to survive? And maybe you lop off an obvious underlay, but a lot of times, especially in 3rd and 4th and 5th legs, you don't really know who that'll be. So then you still use horses that you probably shouldn't have. Well, in the exacta, you don't have to. You can see it plain as day. So
well then,
but the key there is not wasting combinations on a 7-6.
So that's like touching 201. Like touching like 101 is, if there's 10 horses in the race and you just like 5 with a dutching tool, you can bet different amounts on all 5, and it'll tell you, okay, if you bet 100, you'll win 180, and you turn those 5 horses into a 4 to 5 shot or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Basically making an entry.
It's like like what you're showing. It's almost like a mutual fund or something. Like, I'm going to buy this. You're buying this basket.
Yes.
And
it does the work for you of weighting it.
Yeah. And typically, like, I've seen it most common with doubles, right? Where people are like, well, I want to spend $100 in doubles in this race. I'm going to play my horse to these 4 horses in the next. And it's going to say, well, you can bet 100 to win whatever, 800, and then it'll spread the amount. Which is pretty cool.
Right.
So good.
Yeah. Being able to, I think, I have a ton of respect, especially since I can't do it. Like the pros, another level. And then you have the novices, and it's great, whether it's show betting or, they're boxing horses, whatever, they're having their fun, Keeneland with their friends, tagging along, various, but and I was talking with some horse player friends of mine. I feel like where I'm at, maybe people are slightly better, slightly worse. There's like this donut hole of, there's ways that you still get the entertainment aspect, which we're looking for, while still making smarter bets. And I think racing sort of missed out on educating that segment to be smarter. And I'm guilty of it too in some regards. Again, with the pick 3s and pick 4s, the caveman plays are just being lazy, and I'll just use all of them in the 3rd leg since I'm against the favorite in the 1st. You're just, in the long run, you're cutting profits or increasing losses more likely. And with the exacta tool or the double one, it helps you see in black and white.
Right.
Like the difference there, if I had boxed those horses, not that I'd ever do a 6-horse box that includes the top 2 choices, but as a for instance, that's $30, and you get back 70. Well, this allowed me to press it for a little more for 4 and make a little bit more money.
Yeah. Or just even like a simple one is like, even if you were doing a double with 2x2 or 3x3, let's say that's 9 combinations in the double. like if one of those combinations is favorite and it's paying $9, like don't even do it. You know,
Right.
do it by hand and leave that one out. You know, and it's not so much that like, oh, I would have got my money back if that one won, but it's what you're doing is when you're saving that money, then you can put that money on the other combinations and have it for, you know, $3 instead of $2.
Right.
You know, or like you're saying, like if one of the legs is a price, then you can afford to have, you know, more of a favorite in the other leg. So, all right, on to the fourth. Good exacta. So, unfortunately,
I'm definitely playing this pick 4 now.
Oh, this is the middle. All right.
I was playing it. This was the one I was excited about. So
Okay. And what races are you excited about here?
Well, let's see how excited I am about this one and check the board.
Okay. Yeah, let's start here.
Yeah, I mean, Scary Proposition and Tunda. Yeah, the 6 and 2 were both A's for me. You had the deuce on your ticket.
Yeah.
So, you know, right away, that's positive. Crown from Grace looks like that one's going to be lower than its morning line, but not too much. So I'm probably going to use that one. Judy's Flyer and Air Force Lightning, I'm not as excited about. So yeah, I mean this race right away. I mean I think there's a shot to, well, Twenda's. Oh man, I don't know who's going to be favored here.
Twenda's
multi-race wise, Twenda's lower than Air Force Lightning, but that one's taken some early money. So
yeah, I mean our AI line has the 2 to 1 favorite.
Okay.
And
Well, I like the 6 best, so that's definitely one I'm going to lean on.
Okay. Scary Proposition on the 6.
I think, you know, the jockey colony here, tough job. You know, always traditional boilerplate. These guys and gals are tough, but I do think Biscuitza is the head and shoulders one of the best at Turfway. So when I see a, you know, price that I'm kind of excited about, and he's on, and Tommy Vanberg is a trainer I have a lot of respect for, that, you know, just doesn't get the horses. But you know, these connections at this price, for a horse who last time out, and it's a quick turnaround, but I kind of like that right off the claim. Second Lasix especially. I think there's a lot to like here at the price.
And you know what else it's got going for it? Some very nice synthetic stats.
Oh, all right. I mean, the rise in class off not keeping the maiden condition, basically, too.
Yeah,
I guess they're giving up after the 9-5 loss, but I'll give them a shot at this price.
I guess they probably dropped it in thinking they would get the claim and the win, and they got the claim all right. But yeah, the 6. So yeah, global campaign 22% so far in synthetic routes, best in the race, and really nice impact. So yeah, I have to agree. I mean, the connections are great. Tom Vanberg is great, and off the claim, bringing it back, and he's got a good stat in 8 to 14 days here, 2 of 6. It's not bad.
And this is, and I'm looking now because I was plotting out the bet. But in the last leg, the 7th, like this is where I feel like I struggle. And, you know, if my opinion's right, I leave money on the table. If it's wrong, maybe I'm not anyway. But, you know, Runaway Kitten is going to be used heavily. 5 to 2 on the morning line. I actually prefer Tis Sweet Emotion a little bit. I mean, it seems like there's some pace in here, so maybe that's a fly in the ointment from the outside. But knowing Runaway Kitten's going to be the favorite, I think Tis Sweet Emotion is worth preferring. But then Redheaded Stranger is 12 to 1 on the morning line, and you can let me know what what HRN thinks it's going to be. But it's like, really, okay, those are the three I like. Don't
9 to
really have
1.
anything beyond that. So
Mhm.
like, am I better off spreading to get to Redheaded Stranger because that's where the value is going to be, or in a race like this where I like the 6, who's an okay price. If I start with that, do I really not want to be live to Runaway Kitten and 'Tis Sweet Emotion? So to me, it's just like putting in the work of, okay, what tickets are actually overlaid versus being lazy and saying, well, I can just do this for $48 and,
Yeah.
hopefully I get the best result.
Right. Instead of just throwing the cards up and hoping. Yeah.
But all that said, 5, 6, 11 are my 3 in the last leg. So I'm less excited about that race. That's definitely where I feel like it looks pretty formful other than the 1 price.
Mm-hmm.
So then from there, it's just like, trying to avoid the short prices, which, in my mind, Air Force Lightning, I don't know. We'll see where that one ends up, whether I use or not. But at 8 to 5, I would pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our AI line in race 7, we've got Runaway Kitten. It's the 6 at 6 to 5, and the 11 at 2 to 1. So in terms of off odds, basically the race going through the 6 and the 11. So the 5, I would say that's going to get you a nice. It's going to juice it nicely if you can get that 5 in there.
I like the juice.
Yeah, we got Wesley Ward off a layoff with a class drop, and the stats I ran, I didn't run it from maiden special. I only ran it from maiden special to maiden claiming. I didn't run it from maiden claiming with a drop to maiden claiming. For brouhaha there.
And Ward isn't even in the top 10 by wins, and he just gets bad.
Yeah, I think was it a couple of years ago, everything he rolled out was winning, it seemed like, but yeah, he's not done too great lately. What about the 6th? We only got 7 horses in there.
Yeah. Pull up the PPs here. You said the 6th race, right?
Yeah.
I like Old Fashioned Gal is, I mean, the 9 to 2 line. I think that she's leanable. I actually am one who does not mind right back against winners, especially given broke the maiden, course and distance. Really, other than the last 2, which even that one back at Presque Isle, 7,500 claimer, that was against nails. So like this level against fillies, finally got the job done. From post 12 last time, no less.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to like there. And is a lean for me. And then I do have some B's, so we'll see how I, end up needing to zig and zag, but for sure, Old Fashioned Gal, like that's going to be a situation where I probably will want to look at the doubles if I'm not live, like her and Redheaded Stranger, like that should probably be pretty good. So
yeah. Well, how about this? So you're talking about value. To me, the value in this sequence is probably race 5, and race 6, you're either, if your Redheaded Stranger doesn't win, it's likely going to go to that chalk 6 or 11.
right.
And in race 6, if you don't hit off Old Fashioned Girl, I don't know that you're going to really get anything there. So would it be worth doing 1 ticket singling each horse and then just call it a day?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Instead of going 3 by 3 and then trying to.
Well, really, 3 tickets. I could single the 6 here, the 4 and the 6th race, and then
yeah. Whereas like I haven't really spent as much time on the 6th and 7th, so I think I'm just gonna play the double here and try to catch the price. Because if I catch the price in the double, I'd hate to like, you're talking about like, do you need those extra legs? Well, you don't really need the extra legs if you've got a price in the double.
right.
You're just risking it going forward. Let me look at Old Fashioned Girl. I mean, yeah, that was a pretty good race from the 12 post, so definitely.
All right, so Wesley Ward, 2 for 21 at the meet, negative 61% impact.
So there's a chance he could improve.
He's due like Contreras.
He's due. Yes. He's due.
One thing that's amazing to me looking at this, man, there's a lot of goose eggs at this meet. 4 different trainers have started at least 20 horses without a win.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Talking about race 6, though, there's just doesn't seem like a lot of speed in there.
Yeah, that's why the only reason I used the 3 as a B was because of that.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at, is the 3.
And not favored. Like even if she looked like Lone Speed and was the favorite, the numbers aren't there. But yeah, I mean, has a win on synthetic too.
Synthetic sprint, or wow, it's going back. Oh
yeah, I was just looking at the summary box. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, wired a maiden claimer, but fairly slow adventure. Yeah, so that horse is, it's got some speed. It could definitely go wire to wire, and yeah, our AI line has it favored. So we're talking about the 3 Lily's Home in race 6. Our line has it at 2-1. So she's walking the dog on the front end. That kind of makes sense.
Which that can happen again.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't really look like there's any pressure. Old Fashioned Girl's going to come back from too far off of it. The 7 and the 8 are going to be off of it pretty far. So, all right. So let me pull up the sire stats here. Just take a quick look. And Ed, you're going to bail for a second?
Yeah, probably need more than a second. But
okay.
You'll look at the sire stats?
We will.
All right. I'll be right back.
So we're talking about these earlier. So race 4, Ed was talking about the 6th scary proposition. Global campaign, 22% in synthetic routes, which is great. And then also the 9, Crown with Grace, Liam's Map, almost 20%, and a lot more data here, right? So we've got 188 starts. So pretty firm numbers coming in about 20% with a positive impact. And again, that 30% positive impact is like, you kind of look at it like a plus 30% ROI. So those horses are actually winning 20%, but they're actually outperforming the odds at that, even at 20%. So, which is pretty strong. So definitely want to give consideration to the 9. I think Ed's talked me into the 6 a little bit. Originally, though, I was looking at the 2 and the 9, and then maybe the 11 as a third choice. So definitely it's still interested in the 2 and the 9. Let me pull up Sire Moves, and actually I want to pull up the pace report. So another one of our reports, the HRM Pro reports, is a pace report, and it's really nice. I think sometimes, if you're spending a ton of time handicapping, of course, you're probably going to see the pace or should see the pace, but sometimes it's a nice guideline. Maybe you don't have time to play all 10 races, where you're going to focus, and just seeing, for me, like that orange of a lot of pace in the first race, and we got a closer to come from way back, and we've got a lot of pace potential in race 5 as well. And then most of these are in between, maybe a little more potential in race 6 and race 10. But, like last race, 18 is a pretty low number. That's why it's kind of blue for like an icy, chilly pace. And, the 6 was the 6 right off the lead last time, Ed, or was he on the lead?
We're looking at this race, right?
No, the Peter Miller, your horse that won the last.
On the lead.
It was wire to wire, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
close to it.
Yeah. And so I was just talking about the pace report, and sometimes it's just a nice check, like if you're trying to like get way into some closers, you go back to this and say, well, wait a second, it's predicting no pace, at least on paper. And this 4th race we're looking at, 28, it's just above what we would shade as a cold, slow, icy pace, whatever. But that's a pretty low number as well. Normally we're looking at like something in the 30 to 60 as being kind of more moderate, and then anything over 65 getting into a faster pace. So that's something. And then just looking at race 6 and 7, kind of in between, a little bit of different potential either way. All right, let me pull the tote forward back up.
Yeah, Air Force Lightning still hanging tough.
He's still favored 5-2.
Yeah. Judy's Flyer still 6-1. That one will probably come down a touch. I mean, all things considered, I mean, there's only 8 in here, but nothing more than 20-1.
Yeah, another flat board, huh? But that could help doubles and help the sequence for sure.
Right.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. In the 5th, I was trying to make a case for some of these closers. I thought the 7 I was particularly interested in, but also the 6 and 9. So 6, 7, and 9 is all kind of price closers, and then maybe the 12. I was kind of looking at that as like a B or a C type to just touch, but 8-1 morning line. So
in the next,
in the next off a 500-day layoff, so not really expecting it to come in there, but found a few positive things to like there.
Yeah, none. I mean, Chris Davis for hard to see this one running back to. I mean, those got some pretty good brisnet figures, but the connection certainly is one that can have him ready. So.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I used. If I get through this leg, I certainly won't be cheering against Ascari.
Okay. In your pick 3, pick 4.
Pick 4 starts here. Yeah.
Oh, pick 4 starting here. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the middle pick 4? Only 16,000 in the pool though.
Well, I haven't bet yet.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, I was gonna say everybody's like me to forget about that middle pick 4.
They do forget. 17 now. Speaking of which, when you gave a push to liking, got about 10. So I'm going to give a push too, and say make sure if you're watching on YouTube anyway. Well, all the sites have something to like, but YouTube especially it helps. So.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and Jay is he's getting involved with a 211, both of which certainly makes sense. Now, some might say, "Oh, a double, you're using the 2," but you'll notice the 3 he's using in the next leg, at a minimum, will be the third choice, one of those three, because he does not have the two horses who will be favored, the 10 and 11. So, I don't mind that at all when, especially being narrow. It's like, now if you were 4 or 5 deep here and using the top two, and really, what's your opinion? But taking the stand here against the favorite in the next. The 3 was a horse I did not have. Let's see what. If you're listening, Jay, you can tell us what you like about. What's this horse's name? Manfredi, 15-1 morning line. Had some speed early.
Manfredi, wow. Yeah, he's a price.
Yeah.
All right, good luck in the 4th, everybody.
Oh, they're off.
Yeah. Don't mess around, man. They get them in the game.
No, they sure don't.
It's cold.
Probably feels like summer there today.
It probably does. It did walking the dog. Got to get some shorts on. All right, so 6 and 7 are out there, and not that. Yeah, 24 and a half. They're kind of compact for Turfway. I mean, it's not that spread out, so they're not flying.
Kind of slow though, so that.
Oh, look, the 2 got slammed at the bell, 6-5.
Judy's Flyer did not take money though.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that one would come down. She would come down.
Yeah, she's in a good spot. What's that? The 11-3 wide.
Yeah,
in a good spot as well. 6. There's your 6. Right. Got something left still.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's down to. I guess the 2 isn't giving up.
No,
but.
It's a tussle.
A Titanic tussle in Tampa?
Something like that. Wow, that 2 doesn't.
Am I getting a rail re-rally here?
Yeah, could be. Could be.
Man, that 2 didn't give up, though.
Give up. Yeah. Oh, there's 11.
11 doesn't want to give up either.
Wow, that's tight.
Wow.
11-6-2. Your 6 ran well.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
11 says a 22-1 exact. I didn't play, but
yeah,
I was nervous. That was one of those. I was just kind of nervous about where the money would go late.
Mm-hmm.
And even what I was seeing, it wasn't like, oh, this is a pool I need to be in. So, but yeah, I feel good about liking the 6. Ran well.
Yeah, they didn't go very fast, right? So it slowed down 49 and change, 115 and change, and the 6 held in there a long time. Yeah,
and I mean the money, the lack of money ended up being correct. Judy's Flyer is actually the morning line favorite.
Wow.
Ended up clear third choice. No, actually, it was the Scary Proposition. Actually, had a little more win money than Judy's Flyer, but she backed out of it pretty bad.
Yeah.
So
the 2.
But, I mean, other than that, no one else was. I mean, they were all up there.
Yeah. Carlos Barbosa, not familiar with him. It's pretty diverse jocks room, right? I mean,
yeah,
from all over.
Sneaking a peek at the double pools into the next. We're in for another super flat board.
All right, I like it.
Yeah, no, I mean,
so.
And a horse I use is going to be 50-1, so I'll have something to cheer.
Which one?
Ahumado, the 4.
Oh, all right. I couldn't get there, but
Doesn't seem like many others could either.
So while we have a minute,
Carlos Barbosa, though.
Tell us about fair odds you've done this week. Have you done the Holy Bull or anything?
Yeah. Oops. I did the Holy Bull, which I've done. I'm doing all 3 Derby prep races, but the Holy Bull is done. So I'm gonna. No sense not popping that in there.
All right.
There we go.
Oh, nice. 90. You got the old 99-1 there.
Yeah. I'm not because I won't go higher, but just worked out that way. Once you're that high, like I'm gerrymandering the highest one to basically fit 100%. Like, if it's 99.8,
yeah,
how lower, to get to 100. So it adds perfectly. But, the important thing here is Ferocious, morning line favorite. We'll see if he actually is. I thought Tappan Street's last race was stellar. I think that race makes him the horse to beat. So I line the race as if that's the Tappan Street we're going to see. Mm-hmm. I'm a little nervous that from the same barn, Patch Adams broke his maiden going 7, got a fast number, and then I don't want to say no-showed the Southwest, but certainly a disappointing effort based on the buzz. So, a little bit of a thought bubble of how short I'd be willing to take on Tappan Street based on Patch Adams. But really, I'd be shocked if the value here isn't Burnham Square. I mean, even with the somewhat short field of 7, assuming Ferocious and Tappan Street are the clear top 2 choices, I think Burnham Square has to be higher than 4-1. And I think that's the play here. So, yeah, Burnham Square at 4-1. And then the Withers, another 7-horse field. Captain Cook, I think, has run best and deserves to be the favorite and most likely winner. But it is a 1 1/8. I'm not sure about Practical Joke, stretching out. And Global Steve down on the rail, who I'm thinking might have a different jockey. Sanchez was into Spillett Parks earlier this week. But regardless, from the rail, he's going to go. And I think Captain Cook's going to have some company. And that, I think, softens him up enough going a 1 1/8 that Omaha, who has run into some fast paces in his career and worked with them, he's going to be closing. And I think we're going to get the 7-2 I want. So from how I'm expecting to play this, Captain Cook is going to be an underlay, and Omaha will be my play.
Okay, I like it. And then we also have the Baffert Stakes.
We do. It's funny to say that Citizen Bull, who won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and champion 2-year-old, isn't the speed of that race in a compact field, but Rodriguez just looks quickest to me. So, well, I'm eager to see how they bet it. I mean, we've all kind of lamented the CRW thing, and there's plenty of reasons why we get frustrated. The odds drops, etc. But for me as a player on these big days, the one thing where I notice CRW the most is 20 years ago, Citizen Bull would have been the odds-on favorite in here, Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner, right, and he's not going to be the favorite.
Yeah,
I mean that just Rodriguez is going to be favored, and probably, he's the most likely winner. I agree with the board, but those opportunities of betting against the celebrity horse coming out of Grade 1 races, Grade 1 wins no less.
Yeah,
that era is over.
Yeah, it's not right. Yeah, it's not what it used to be. We were talking about that when Locked went in the Cigar Mile, right? And his
exactly,
speed figures weren't top 3 in the race, but yet he go off at 8-5 or something like that. Yeah, people don't miss much these days. It's tough. So, So this is an interesting board. So the 7's opened up at 3-1. And that was actually my top choice.
Which one?
The 7.
Oh. All right. I have them.
There's, a decent amount of money in there. Now this is,
oh, wow.
this is,
yeah, favored.
Yeah, this is my kind of superfecta race. I think there's a lot. And look at your 2 at 19-1. Not that that's going to stick, but
look at my 4 is only 15-1.
Yeah, that's an underlay. You add another digit there.
He'll be 50 at least.
Yeah. Let's see what the AI line is. The AI line on the 4 is 99-1, and yes, it does not go higher.
We'll see.
It says the fair odds on the 4 is 94-1, so you get an overlay.
Oh, there we go. Well, assuming he actually goes off at 99.
Assuming. Not if you put, your quarter bankroll on him. I think that 7
Jay's alive here in his double.
Great.
Yeah. This is the board you need. I mean, I still think from a key perspective, you want to find a double-digit horse, right?
Yeah.
But they're there.
For me, that might be the 6.
Okay.
And remember I was telling you about that race on Sunday where there was 240-1 shots that ran first and third? This 6, Liam the Brave, comes out of that race. So, or comes out of the race against Gamer. That was he the one that won? No, he's the one that ran third, but ran almost a winning race. And looked at some of the horses coming out of that race, and a fair amount of the figs went up. So it seems like it's a decently productive race.
Is that something you use?
I do, especially for something like turf races and synthetic races where I question the speed figures. So, just looking at the speed figures of the next race and if they're going up or down, especially if I'm suspect on the speed figures.
That makes sense.
But yeah,
I didn't realize this too was only 5-1 on the morning line.
Yeah. Which wasn't, I don't think, a terrible line. So our AI line has it going off at 7. So
okay, well, it's going to be higher than that. Double and pick 3 or 13-15.
I mean, I think a lot of early money came in on the 7 and then the 10, 11, 12.
Right.
And then everything else is just long at this point until it catches up.
Yeah, I mean, this look, and it is spready, but I mean, this is getting into territory where I really couldn't fault anyone for, pick 6 starts here. So that's a tough bet anyway, where you got to make some decisions. But like from even a pick 3 standpoint, I mean, I think the 10 and 11 at 5-1 each are playable.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they'd be lower.
The 10 is going to come down. I think I've seen a couple of different things in the 10 on top, and so our HRN line on the 10 is 2-1. So I think the 10 will be favored quite possibly unless this money on the 7 keeps up.
Yeah, the 7. Way more money in the pick 3 than the double, which I've heard mixed reports of how much involvement CRW has in double, but it's near unanimous, I would say, the pick 3 is the better signal, regardless of whether or not
Okay.
they're in the double. So
All right.
in that regard, the 7 has some hype, but
Let's see. So I mean, the way I was kind of playing this race is there's a little bit of chaos, and I thought there's some potential for speed. You know, the 1 obviously has speed. The 2 could go. The 3 has some speed. Showed more speed on synthetic. Or it's 1 synthetic race. The 4 has some speed. I don't know if it's quite fast enough, but could get out there as well. And really those 4, but also even the 8 a little bit. So I thought, you know, okay, this might be an opportunity to get some closers. And that's why I was coming back to the 6, 7, 9, 10, 12. And I know that's a lot of horses, but like in terms of like, I'll probably structure a superfecta. If you can get 1 or 2 of those in, you can get a pretty nice superfecta here. And especially like if you could start, it's a 12 horse field, but if you could start eliminating horses, that
right.
helps a lot too. Like look at Caitlin's pick 6, right? So she's going 6 deep in here. That's kind of the chaos I was talking about. But I'm not on the 4. I was gonna I'll probably toss the 1, 2, 3, 4 almost completely out. Maybe touch the 2 once. I mean, certainly I would play the 2 at this price, but
Right. Sixer says Scoot and Boot Perry Utes is full send from the rail.
Exactly. So,
yeah, I mean, to Austin's point, I kind of touched on this, like where the rubber meets the road when it comes to like long-term success. It's always okay to pass. I mean, can't bet every
what?
race and,
You can't
and
pass.
beat the game. But, you know, 2, you know, I came into handicapping the card and thinking like, oh, this is the spot where a lot of people are going to lean. It's one of those 2, or it's going to look that way. Maybe I can be creative, you know, beat a couple of 5-2 horses, and you know they're going to be 7-2 minimum. And now all of a sudden, in my mind, especially with the 7, I mean that's the underlay of the group right now. You know, kind of a lean on the 10 and 11 that could allow you to use some prices later. Makes sense. So.
Hang on. All right, with you.
All right. So yeah, pick 6 here. You saw on the graphic, $27,000 carryover. It is a jackpot though, so you need to be the only winner. I think, you know, especially if I'm not playing the pick 6, you know, but if this were like a mandatory day or we're in a jackpot, I actually think there is some opportunity here with the way this is getting bet, where the 10 and 11 are probably, they're slightly better than the others I used, or more than slightly in the case of the 4. Like that's a pig and a poke at a bomb. But like I think this is a spot where, you know, so many people are looking for that big single, or, oh man, I want to get through the race. And, you know, they have 80% of the win pool with 2 or 3 horses. Well, you know, that's what the public does too. So there's maybe a zagging opportunity if you were narrower here. And I have not seen the doubles into the next race. But, you know, the 4 was 9-2 on the morning line, who I like quite a bit. The 3 looked like might get overlooked as lone speed. So, you know, maybe there's some opportunity to play some doubles with the 10 and 11 being ignored here. But one thing's for sure is I am gonna make a win bet on the 4.
What did you like on the 4?
What's not to like?
He's only synthetic route. He did fight for the lead. Looks like had some trouble and then spit it on a pace that wasn't really fast.
Right. I mean, I see, and I mean that this is the step up in class. I think is, and I don't mean just off the win. I mean going from claiming to allowance will scare enough people away. But I mean this horse is in form. Like, you know, dropped into claiming.
For sure.
You know, attended the pace 3 back. Set what Brisnet called a really slow pace. So, you know, maybe you say some negatives 2 back, kind of collapsed on the front end, you know, at this distance. So I see what you're saying, but there is a trouble line, but the last race was good. So, you know, 78 Brisk, the Ragozin was right there with, you know, even slightly slower than Keto Dan, but you know, 5 times the price. I just thought was worth including as a super separator.
Separator for the superfecta or a super separator, period.
I mean, I used in the pick 4, so I'm hoping to separate from there.
Yes,
super is in awesome.
So the Brisk Prime Power ranks the 4 last of not only the 12 in the field, but including the 2 also eligibles that have scratched. It ranks him last of the 14.
It's bad, but, and I always preach this, even my time working there, the gap is more important than the ordinal ranking. And it's just a 16.9 point spread from top to bottom. So it's a competitive race.
Yes.
You know, I've seen plenty of races where like the 3rd ranked horse is 15 points behind the top horse, which says it's not competitive. So
yeah, no, I would agree it's competitive. There is a drop off the last couple, but
that is true. Yes.
It is, though, ordinarily ranking them, that's a lot of horses that has to jump. Like, I'm definitely not arguing with you that its last race was good. It's just it's got to improve over a lot of horses that also can't improve.
Right.
I'll
have my finger on the button for 50 to 1 or higher.
All right. What did you make anything of this 11? I mean, I know we've mentioned it, and you mentioned it earlier. Yeah, I mean, I guess he fits.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the ones. I thought he'd be a clear favorite, so I was, you know, less bullish. But again, you know, he'll probably end up 7-2, but I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he fits.
I mean, you didn't use 5 deep. I didn't use on any of my tickets. I have 6 different horses in various ways. But Caitlin picked on top. And I don't know if it was a pick or what, but someone mentioned, you know, Scoot and Boot going to the front on the Uno.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
You don't see it?
I don't see that horse winning.
Oh, no, but Sixer was just saying that horse was going.
Oh, yeah. No, I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. All right. Price-wise, I think I'm going to do supers with the 5 and 6 in 4th and 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, this is going to pay. This thing's going to pay. Like, if you can hit it, even the exact in here, there's not really any strong favorites, but if you can get a try or a super in here, that's really going to pay. Wow, you're 2 still 19 to 1, huh?
Yeah, that's one of those. I mean, I guess similar to, I forget which race it was already now, but is it the last race? 2 races back, that horse who was the morning line favorite and just was 7-1 and ended up, it was 2 races back, ended up a longer price than Scary Proposition. That was just last race. Yeah. Like the money, it's not showing so aggressively. That concerns me.
On which horse?
The 2 here.
Yeah. Oh, you mean it's so chilly?
Yeah. I mean, this is a third choice, co-third choice on the morning line, who took no double money, no pick 3 money, and is bet even less in the win pool right now. So hard to like. And that's something, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you watch all these races, like, the ego in me says, why my opinion, and 16-1's a great price. It's a huge overlay, but Dennis Montoro, Denny Caps on X, is very giving with his time, and he's made a living at this the last couple of years, and he's talked a few times in various threads about, we all know the market is good in racing. Sometimes you just have to acknowledge that when you're so far off what the market's telling you, chances are you're not the one who's right.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of getting that vibe here.
Yeah, I see where you're going. The interesting thing though about that race, and so the 8 and the 11 are coming out of the common race, the 2, 8, and 11, right?
Okay.
So that Shards Tigers Legacy race was pretty blazing in terms of speed, and it's interesting. So the 11's getting played here. Well, he's 6-1. The 11, started that race off in 12 and had the advantage of. I guess the race got hot in the middle. Maybe I'll take that back. You know what? All right, it was slow early, and then it got hot in the middle. And I do think that's what fried the 2. So, yeah, I mean, the 2 could probably hang on for a piece of this. I don't know. I don't like him to win here, especially if the 1's going after him.
Man, this sport's something else.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, this is where, in my money's in the pick 6. But we got to peek at Caitlin's. Sorry, my money's in the pick 4. We got to peek at her pick 6 ticket. She was spreading. I spread. Like, everyone's spreading here. So to me, if you have a stand, whether it's a stand that you just press with your opinion in the next 2, or allows you to spread and catch some wacky horse, this would be to do it. I'm kind of not feeling that, only because for me the only option is a pick 3, which has the higher takeout, and I'm sort of already locked in the pick 4 anyway. But
did the 8 do anything for you here?
8 did not do anything for me. But the 7 just clicked down to 7-2, and the 11 is now 7-1. And again, who knows where they end up? But there's clearly a lot of confusion in the marketplace.
I mean, 7-1 is probably a good price on that 11. And last time it says had a tardy start, came on rapidly at the end. Oh, the 11's stretching out. That's right. So that was the question. Okay, now I remember. I was worried that this 11 would get caught in the pace stretching out. So, I mean, that's why it's chillier. All right, that helps. I'm going to use it. Take him off the win. And this 9 is really still bet pretty good at 9-1, 8-1. Jeez. Didn't see that. Yeah, and that's okay. And then I take it back on the 2. He was in sort of a blazing pace last time, but now he's stretching out to a mile, so that's not really a super recipe either. So I'm gonna stick with closers. I'm with 7, 6, 7, 9, 10. Not in that order really, but 6, 7, 9, 10, and then also the 12.
Yeah. Kind of playing around with pick 3s. I can't make it work. I'm going to stand pat on my pick 4. This is it for us.
Yeah.
Goes so quick.
You got anything live?
The pick 4.
Yeah, right. Through leg 1. That's good. Yeah, no, this is great. This went so quick.
Yeah.
Austin saying 11 can sit just off and work out a trip. I don't know. There's some pretty good horses behind. That would be my concern.
George on the 1. Jose.
All right. Good luck, everybody. And that looks like a little bit of a melee, but it looks like is that the 1 clearing?
Ailman 7-2.
Yeah. I mean, being inside in the routes hasn't been bad at all, and he just cleared easy. Wow. I mean,
he didn't have to clear from the rail.
Yeah, he's moving now. 23-35.
23.
Does
that is smoked.
Does Perry have a rating gear?
It's Scoot and Boot, man.
He's just all send. Yeah, so the 3's already thrown in the towel. The 11's trying to chase here, and the 2 are trying to move into 2nd and 3rd. That doesn't seem like a great spot. So I guess the question is, what's Perry got? The 2 have dropped a lot though, 12-1.
Yeah, down not as much as Ailman did, but I mean they're 11's gassed.
Yeah, here's the 7.
I mean the 1's gassed too, but there's only one other's coming, and it's the 7.
There's not enough time for anybody else to get there.
I mean the money is.
No money's good.
The 7, the 1-7 was the favorite exacta. 7-1 was the second choice.
Yeah.
7-10 was the third choice. Like,
pretty accurate.
Which I mean, the morning line, Mike's credit. I mean, he had Ailman right there at 5-1 line, and I can't begrudge him for the horse ending up being 7-2. I mean, Royal Sandrin, who you and I both used. I mean, I got there as a B, and I saw 10-1 at the time I was playing, so I don't feel too bad about it. But gosh, I just could not have played that horse at 7-2.
Yeah, no, right.
And had I done a pick 3, all the things I was messing around with, I would have missed. So.
Yeah, no, that's tough. And that's not going to pay anything for it. I was talking about chaos on there, but that's formful on the board. Those are the top 4 choices. Top 2 choices in the exacta, top 3 choices in the trifecta, and top 4 choices in the super. You don't get more spot on than that.
No, I mean, Scoot and Boot did.
Well, what if Perry rated that horse for like maybe a couple strides?
Yeah, behind Manfredi. Because he tried to go the 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fair question.
I'm just kidding, but
no, I mean the winner was the best, so it's like
So the pick
But-
5 was 2,500, which wasn't crazy tough. I actually missed the Peter Miller, which is annoying. Pick 4, only $250. So wow, big difference catching that first leg.
Yeah, that's there's definitely a sort of a boomerang. Like if it's super chalky, especially because of the conso, that pick 5, you're not getting rewarded. That's one example at Turfway. I would say you don't want the super short price, or you don't want to add an extra leg with the super short price.
Mm-hmm.
But anything a $10 winner or more, especially beating an odds on, really blows you up.
Right. That's true. Yeah, that adds a ton. Cool. All right. Anything else we want to cover? Parting shots?
Mike says we.
All right. Yeah. But so thanks everybody for joining us. We try to do
really
this
appreciate
every
it.
Wednesday night usually.
Congrats, Jay.
Maybe we'll get some good carryovers this week too.
Yeah, it's I guess been 2 weeks because we did it when they came back with the carryover, but yeah, it's fun.
Remind us who's your coverage in your pick 4 in the 6th and 7th.
So I have 4 with 5, 6, 11, and then I have 3, 4, 5, 8 with 5, 11.
All right.
So
cool.
That's the plan. Yeah, and looks like I had some agreement with Caitlin in the next leg based on her pick 6, but then we diverted after that. So,
okay,
which I more mention, not her specifically, but just I like looking at the public tickets just to try to get a sense for like, okay, where are people spreading? What's kind of a single people might like. And she's less public than some. There's a few handicappers that are totally Joe Public, so it gives you a good sense of where you might be able to have a contrary opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not afraid to be contrary, so less reliable there. But I do think if I can beat the 6 in race 7, it'll be all right.
All right. Well, good luck with that, and good luck everybody the rest of the way with Turfway. And thanks for joining us. And we'll hopefully we'll see you next week as well. All right.